The Club World Cup Fantasy 2025 match day 1 is just around the corner, and we need to talk about our booster strategy. Guys, in this video we're going to be covering all the boosters, what they are, what they do, when is the best time / scenario to actually use them, and look at the fixture ticker to actually help us determine that as well. And then of course we're going to go through what my booster strategy actually is, as well as just get a word from the Force on what is the best way to approach or use or think when deciding on using your or creating your booster strategy. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here's a stat for you guys. Over 70% of you guys watching are not subscribed. Now let's make a deal. So in the next few minutes, if you guys get the value that you're looking for from this video, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. It would honestly make a huge difference in helping me and my one-man team bringing you guys more content throughout the season. So sounds like a deal? Let's get into it. All right. I miss saying that. Now let us get straight into it. First, what we're going to do is we're going to cover what the chips actually are, what each and every single chip actually is, and then yeah, just hear from the FPL Force, and then we're going to take a look as to what's the best way to actually use it. So booster strategy, what are the actual chips that we can use? The first chip is the maximum captain, and that is exactly what it is. It is basically your highest scoring player in that match day will be captain automatically. So you have to choose in terms of the match day, which is the best day you think you've got the best players to actually score a lot of points, and you not really sure about captaincy or which one is the best player. That's sort of the best time, but we'll talk about that a bit more. 12th man is selecting another additional player to be in your squad, somebody who's not already in your squad, of course, and you can select any player. Doesn't matter if you've tripled up on an actual team already, so you can quadruple on a team using that chip, and you can activate those two specific chips within match day 1 and 2 and 3, of course. Whereas the wild card, because it is match day 1, that chip allows you to basically make unlimited transfers. So match day 1 being a wild card already, you can't use it within that day, so you can use it in match day 2 or 3, but it does basically expire in the knockout stage, because that's when you do get another wild card where you have to select a new squad, because there will be a lot of teams that are eliminated. And then the mystery booster chip basically is a mystery boost. We don't know what it's going to be, but it will basically be released once match day 3 is locked in. It will be revealed. I think it might be something not similar to FPL, but I think similar in terms of what it's going to do. It's going to depend really on the teams that how they've performed, and I think incentivize the underdog teams basically. So that's what I think is going to be there. But let's hear what the FPL Force has to say about the chips.
The Force guides only those who use their power wisely. In this tournament, your boosters are your strongest weapons. Use them at the right moment. The wise do not rush. They plan, they adapt, and they strike at the perfect moment. Trust the Force. Master your boosters, and victory shall be yours.
Oh, well guys, you heard it from the Force, quite frankly. So it really is just planning and thinking and looking at the chips. Now I think let's start off with the maximum chip. As I mentioned there, it selects your highest scoring player, so you earn double points. Now when do I think is the best time to use that? I think for me, the best time to use this chip is later on in the knockout stage, and this part for me doesn't actually even need me to really be looking through the fixtures. And the reason why I say this is because I think this chip comes in hand in the sense of you're not looking at necessarily that you've got good players in your team. I think this chip is one of those chips where it helps you differentiate yourself, differentiate yourself, especially in the later stages when everybody is basically got the same team. And it's exactly what's going to happen once the knockout stage happens, is that everybody's going to have the same, very much of a template team. And that's why I'm saying I think the mystery boost is going to be somewhat of an incentive to pick an underdog team. But everyone's going to have a lot of the same players, of course, because you have, the odds are going to be against a lot of the underdogs. And people are going to captain the same people. And so in that moment in time, the best way to differentiate yourself is not knowing which is the best captain. For example, today in match day 1, say we're going to have the same type of scenario where two teams like Bayern Munich and Real Madrid are in the knockout stage and they have great match days. So you could either captain Kane or you could captain Haaland, and people are blowing their minds as to who they're going to captain, whereas you just go, nah, I got my chip, whoever hits best, I win. So I feel like that's the best time to actually play that chip, not necessarily in the group stage, because within the group stage, I think there's a lot of great games, and also being able to change captaincy really helps you. So as long as you cover yourself with those great assets for those great game weeks, I think you definitely covered there as well. Now, looking at the 12th man, this is a chip I believe is best used within the actual group stages because of the great fixtures that are in the group stages. Whereas in the knockout phases, there are really tough games there, and so you want to make sure your 12th man is going to gain a lot of points. So you want him to really be having an easier fixture, and the knockout stages are not necessarily going to be all of that easy. The deeper we go into the tournament, the harder it's going to get for everybody, basically. Cool. So I think this is, like, for example, where you do look at the fixture ticker and say, cool, which day do we think in the group stages has the best fixtures? Of course, match day 1, definitely everybody's thinking about this, as it is Bayern Munich facing Auckland City. There's also Man City facing Wydad AC, and you cannot afford both Kane, Haaland, and Mbappe at the same time. So you're gonna basically have to bring in a 12th man at some point. Now that's an option. Match day 2 is also another option. You've got Paris Saint-Germain, you can definitely grab a player from there. Again, you've got still Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid has also got a good fixture as well, and so does Man City, playing the second to last team in terms of the FIFA rankings of the teams rated in this Club World Cup fantasy tournament. So again, I feel like, this is going to be another time where you're going to want to select another player like this. And I mentioned those 3 players specifically because I feel that the chip is wasted if it's not put on a player which you cannot afford, because you're going to want those 3 players in. Why not have 2 of them in and then just use the chip to actually get the other guy in as well? So match day 2's also got great fixtures for them as well, and of course so does match day 3, where you can change things up. PSG as well, again, got a great fixture. Atletico Madrid got a great fixture there as well. Not Bayern Munich so much. Guirassy is going to be playing Ulsan HD. That's a great fixture. Cheaper, of course, but he's at 9 million. So you can get away from that as well. Real Madrid playing Salzburg. I think Real Madrid will win that one, of course. So yeah, definitely way better than what the fixtures will look like in the actual knockout phases. Then the wild card. So the wild card for me in this tournament, I feel, is almost like in FPL a free hit. Now it allows you to make unlimited transfers. Now the perks of this booster is what you do on either side of the wild card. Meaning, for example, if you're deciding to play the wild card in match day 2, that basically means match day 1 for you, you just pick any plays. You don't have to worry about the future, quite frankly. You're picking players specifically for that match day, and them being great for that match day doesn't matter if they're going to have a great fixture or not in match day 2 or even 3. Then you pick a new squad in match day 2, and you know you're only planning for 2 match days. And that's somewhat similar basically with what you're doing in match day 1, quite frankly. And so it really depends on how you want to plan and structure and which teams you want to target. But essentially with the wildcard, what you want to do is, of course, you can only use it in the group stages. And because in the group stages, you're going to get another wildcard in the knockouts when it starts, basically. It basically allows you to just have to plan for 2 match days. So you don't have to necessarily worry about the third one. So I think think about using the wild card more so like that, in terms of, I'm just going to plan for 2 match days. The day I do play that wild card, I don't have to worry about too much of that, because I can just think about that team on the specific day. So yeah, think about using the wild card like that. In terms of the mystery booster, again, nobody knows what it is. I honestly just feel like it's just gonna be whichever teams are ranked lower at this much. If you pick players from them, they score so many points. I would not be surprised at something stupid like that. But anyway, or even a manager. I don't know, but it's something where I bet you it's going to force you to use, I think it's going to force you to pick some more lower owned teams, or less beneficial teams, or underdog teams, basically. So yeah, now let's talk about what my chip strategy is, to give you a good idea basically of how you can use or structure yourself, basically. Not saying you should use my chip strategy, but before we do that, let's get a bit of words of wisdom from the FPL Force.
Silence, as the FPL Force brings wisdom. Now, to learn the ways of the Force, unlock your true potential, and rise to fantasy football mastery, you must subscribe. So, hit the subscribe button below and begin your journey to fantasy football mastery. May the green arrows
be with you. You heard it there from the FPL Force guys. Please hit that subscribe button if you're still around and you're enjoying the content. You should have by now if you're still around, as it is part of the deal. Now, my chip strategy. So my chip strategy is, I'm going to use the 12th man match day 1. As you can see, we got some great fixtures there. Again, I could use it on either Bayern Munich player or Real Madrid player, or Manchester City. Still deciding, really. I have created my draft, but of course it's a draft, it's not final. Right now I'm leaning more towards Man City and Bayern Munich in terms of that. Yeah, but not to put out Al Anin versus Juventus. That is also a gulf in difference in terms of teams and ability as well. It's just that I can afford all those players. As I mentioned, you want to use it on players you can't afford and triple up or quadruple up, basically. Cool. So definitely using it in match day 1 for me. Look, you can use it match day 2. Again, for me, I just feel like match day 1 there's way better fixtures for me. Yeah, match day 1 there's just way better fixtures. Man City does have a good one over there. So you could, use Haaland there. I don't know, guys, it depends on you guys, but for me, match day 1, I'm using it there. And then that means match day 2 is going to be open for another chip, which I'm not going to be using. I'm actually going to use my wildcard chip on match day 3. Now, going to match day 3, that means, of course, I'm going to be targeting teams that have good games for match day 1 and match day 2. I'm not worried about match day 3 at all. I'm only going to think about that once I hit my wildcard team at that point. So I know my players need to have 2 good games, and that's what I need to have in mind. And so that is part of my strategy. Now on match day 3, I'm definitely going to be picking players, for example, like Paris Saint-Germain and Atletico Madrid got great games. Another one as well, Chelsea has a great game. Going to look at how they form, and this is another reason why also, for me, I favor this one, is because I get to see how teams have performed match day 1, match day 2. Plus, I should be a lot more informed in terms of whether rotation's going to happen, who's still fighting, who's, so based on that, I know, okay, so team is still fighting for a position in the knockouts. They definitely not going to rotate. This team is also qualified, so they should rotate. Based on that information, I can then change my team to make sure that I'm not going to have any players who are risk rotations. And the other benefit of it as well, as you look here in terms of my time, of course, for the first match day deadline, you'll be able to see people who are going to be playing. So I think a lot of us wildcarders are going to be selecting from Paris Saint-Germain and Atletico Madrid, because we will see that, hey, those players are already playing, and then selecting others as well. So you get a unified deadline, quite frankly, and not one that's too split up, like match day 1, match day 2 as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing there. And then I'm going to be using the maximum captain in the group stage, in the knockout phases, when I want to differentiate, and I just feel like I'm not sure who's going to be the best captaincy, because we will all have very much the same players, and most likely be captaining the same players as well, or it will be between 2 players, basically, like I mentioned earlier before. So yeah, for me, that's my chip strategy, booster strategy / but if you want to see what my team draft actually is using that strategy as well, then you should check out this video right over here, where you will actually see my team with that actual strategy in thought as well. So I'll check you guys in that video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you later.